What's up, everybody? Welcome back to This or Therapy. I'm your host, Chris Mack, and today we're going to talk about tattoos on women. Is it a red flag or not? So, a lot of people come to the conclusion that tattoos equals red flags, especially on women. Um, I am kind of this belief, but to a certain extent. I don't believe that tattoos, period, is a red flag on a woman, but I do think location and amount can equal red flag, right? Because a lot of people don't see tattooing as the traditional art that it is, right? A lot of tattoos did originate for, it was a sign of for warriors and accomplishments and things of that nature. But now it's become just a way of expression. But now people see that way of expression as a self-harm, self-mutilation, self-hurt, self-harm, a way of expressing some way that you've been hurt in the past, some form of like expressing trauma. I don't believe that. Um, as a man, I do have tattoos, but I was also in the military, so warrior mindset in that regard. But when it comes to women, a lot of people believe that red flags are tattoos are the red flags, and I kind of, in my experience, I kind of believe that because in my experience, I like usually women. I've dated women with lots of tattoos, no tattoos, or one or two tattoos, small little, And to me, I think of all the women that I have dated that have had lots of tattoos and minimal tattoos, there's definitely been a difference in our relationships. Like, I think if a girl has, a little small, behind the elbow, inside the bicep, kind of, somewhere, smaller back, not smaller back, excuse me, but like, shoulder blades, little letters or numbers, some date, something like that, maybe a little quote, something around the ankles, something very modest that usually doesn't bring red flags. Usually those women have, from what I've experienced, those women have maybe a little bit of issues, but it's not something that's like a make or break. But I can tell you this, all the women that are like tatted up, like I've dated women that had like full sleeves, tattoos all over their thighs, small of the back, I think once you reach those levels of tattooing, yeah, that's usually some things that come along with that. Now, is that all of them? No. Some of these women probably just like, or some people in general, but some women probably just like tattoos. They just love it, the idea, they grew up in a great home. They had a great relationship with their parents, more specifically their fathers. There's no, you know, they've, had a pretty balanced life. However, I have not personally met any of these women. Like, most of the women I've ever dated that had abundance of tattoos have all come with some issues. Now, it's not all, a lot of people look at people with tattoos and they're like, oh, they're into drugs, and none of the women I ever really dated were into drugs, other than like maybe smoking a little bit of weed from time to time. But I don't even consider that a drug because it's basically legal almost everywhere now. And it never really was a drug because drugs to me is something that you have to like chemically make up together and put together other chemicals in to make it, give you the effect. Weed is grown from the ground. However grow it or whatever, it still comes out and does exactly what it's supposed to do, like a tomato. Tomatoes aren't drugs. Therefore, weed to me is not a drug. But I digress. Yeah. Most of the women I've ever dated came with, that had abundance of tattoos, came with some daddy issues, anger issues, alcohol abuse issues, you name it. Like I said, I've been lucky enough to never have anybody with any kind of drug issues, but definitely those kinds of issues, like some promiscuous tendencies, if you will, usually come with women with a bunch of tattoos. It's not all, but most that I've dated that had a lot of tattoos fairly easy to get into the sack. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So I haven't really dated, like I said, I've dated women with a few tattoos or in a lot of tattoos. And the women I've dated with few tattoos usually were pretty balanced, you know what I'm saying? Like most of those women that I dated that small tattoos, like the reason we broke up is because of me. I can say that, you know? They were balanced. They were pretty, you know, they had a good relationship with their family, very mature, you know, very expressive. And I had no issues dating them except for my own. But the ones with a lot of tattoos, man, whirlwind relationship. But the sex was fire. It was fire every time. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got to say today. You know, let me know in the comments if you've had this kind of experience, what you think. Do you think red flags of the dudes with a lot of tattoos are a red flag? I would love to hear that opinion because some people feel that as well. Yeah, I would love to hear your stories. If you have any stories with somebody, if you dated somebody with a bunch of tattoos, or any kind of wild stories, I'd love to hear that in the comments. Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.